Hi, so this is Chloe again. Just because a few people have been asking me about how to do certain things in OBS, how to do certain things when streaming. This is a second video with something a little bit more detailed. Just a note, whilst I'll be covering all the basics in this video of how to have multiple different people in a stream and making it look presentable, there are a few important things in terms of troubleshooting which will be in the description for this video, so I do recommend also checking that out if you have any problems, mainly if things like when you have to put zoom in as a window capture, if it comes up blank white or something like that, or if you keep seeing your own cursor in the capture. Problems like that I will put some explanations of below, but unfortunately I don't have any screenshots of those particular things at the moment because of the laptop that I'm doing this on. But anyway, yes, this is going to be about how to have multiple different people from different places, obviously using different cameras, visible in a stream and making it look presentable. So first off, this is me just doing this as an example, just using myself. I tend to use Zoom, but as long as you've got some form of video chat open, that's the first thing, is that you'll need to have everyone in the same Zoom chat, in the same video chat, on the same laptop or desktop that you are operating OBS on. So once you've got that, just go into OBS and whatever scene you're using for this, go into the sources for that scene, and you want to highlight that bottom one, the window capture. It'll come up with a little window like this, and what you just do is click on that empty space next to the red where it says window. It'll show you all of the windows that you could pick from, and just ignore that screenshot in the corner. There'll be a few of them popping up in this video. You'll just want to pick the one that says Zoom. And as you can see, it comes up in there, and so I'm just going to click OK in the bottom right hand corner. Obviously it's a little bit big right now for the screen. You can see that obviously by the red line and the diagonal grey lines at the side there. So I'm just going to click on one of the tiny red boxes in one of the corners and shrink it down, and then just click and drag it so it's there in the view. So now I'm going to go to window capture a second time, and you'll see that now that I've got one window capture, it's offering me the option of adding an existing one or creating a new one. Now you could technically here add an existing one. You would just get the same image coming up, and you could even edit it in slightly different ways. So you could, like, if I brought up two images of myself, I could have one that just shows my head, one that just shows my shoulders. However, for a reason that I will make clear soon, I'm going to add this as a new window capture. However, I've just gone through the same process. I've clicked on Zoom and I've come up with this image, which I'm going to shrink down again. And you can see we've got two independent images from the same Zoom chat, as it were, and just drag that back up. And now this is why I like to have them as separate window captures. Obviously it's something I find useful. It might not be something you find useful, but it really helps me. So I've right clicked on the second window capture there, and you can see about halfway up that it says rename. And so what I've done is click on rename and called that Chloe 2, and then using the same process, I'm just going to call the other one Chloe 1. And what this means is that I can name them independently. If I had them as the same window capture, the moment I changed one of their names, they would both get changed. So I would have two window captures called Chloe 1, for instance. And so for keeping track of what's what, especially if you've got multiple different people that you're trying to represent in a Zoom stream, in OBS or in a stream, it's definitely handy to have them as separate window captures so you can name them separately. So I've got them named now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an image. Obviously, if I had just these two window captures, it wouldn't look very smart, wouldn't look presentable. So I am going to go to my images. I'm going to create a new image and press OK. And then I'm going to press browse, which will bring up anything I can get from my laptop. And I'm just going to use the overlay, an overlay that I already have from a stream. So I'm going to click on that and press open. You can see that appear now in OBS. I'm just going to click OK. And now in sources, you can see that kind of at the top of the list, as it were, is image 2. That just means that whatever is at the top is always going to be at the forefront of the image that you get. And so what I'm actually going to do right now is just drag it down to the bottom so that I have a bit of a clearer image of the two window captures, because I'm going to need to shift these around. So I'm going to make them a little bit smaller in order to make them fit this a little bit more, which is just clicking the little red dots on the edge and then dragging inwards. And I'm going to shuffle that one up there. I'm going to make that one a bit smaller. I'm going to shuffle it down there just for an example. And then if I drag image 2 to the top of that list on sources again, you can see that now they're kind of neater, they're behind there, though you'll probably see that just in those two middle empty boxes, as it were, empty frames, they're slightly veering into those images. Now if I had 5 images, 6 images even here, then depending on how they were layered and such, like, you might not see them, but what I will do just for safety's sake is I'm going to select it, and because I'm doing this on a laptop, it's, I believe, option click on one of those little red boxes and drag. I think it's Alt and click if you are using a PC, but that means that I can just crop that image there so it's not veering into anyone else's, and I'll do the same at the top, just cropping that side in there so it's not veering into anyone else's. And then you can see how I've got 2 separate images from the same Zoom chat. Obviously, if there were 2 people in chat, then I would just crop it around different faces because it brings up the entire chat window. And then if you have one of these images, then it just helps it look a little bit smarter. If you are trying to make one of these images from scratch, I would recommend GIMP. It is some free Photoshop style software that's really handy, and basically all you need to do to make an overlay is you need to have transparent areas in your image, and GIMP has things like if you select an area, or if you select an image, you can choose a function called color to alpha in the transparency options, and that will just mean that a particular color, for instance, with these I probably would have just made the interior of these frames white and then selected that area and then just said white to alpha, and it would have made them transparent. And those transparent images obviously are where your images are going to come through, where your window capture is going to show through your overlay. So, like I say, there's a couple of troubleshooting things in the links, just a couple of things where sometimes changing your Zoom settings or changing your OBS settings can help in terms of making sure that the image is coming up properly. But otherwise, that is essentially what you need to do if you want to have multiple images, multiple people and cameras visible in the same Zoom stream. Hope that was useful.